here today for the Hall of Fame and Volunteer Awards. Obviously two really important aspects of what we do as England Athletics. On the one hand, it's about celebrating our heritage, remembering all the great athletes of the past that have done so much for the sport and achieved so much, and then obviously recognising the efforts of volunteers now and the great work they do on behalf of their clubs, on behalf of their counties, their areas and the sport in general. This is one of the highlights of the year I'm really excited about tonight.
For me, the kind of pinnacle of the athletics year, purely and simply because we're celebrating what's been achieved in the 12 months previous. So it's an important landmark for the sport. It's great to see so many friends and familiar faces from the various organisations that make our sport what it is. Because our sport is founded on volunteering. Without volunteers there would be no sport. England Athletics, our role is to support those volunteers, particularly those working in clubs and those that put on competition, to do their job as effectively as possible. So it really is about celebrating the volunteer. And I'm sure all those celebrities who will be inducted into the Hall of Fame tonight will say that without the efforts of volunteers, their journey would have been so much more difficult than it was to the top.
But I think it's important that we acknowledge those people that do make an achievement to the sport, because in part it's they who are being recognised, but it also recognises those who have also made a contribution, and they can perhaps have some connection with those people. And also it's an acknowledgement in a way to the spouses and the partners and everybody else that supports those people to win those awards.
There's many things I do throughout the sporting year, and genuinely this event in October is one I really look forward to, because it's just a small part of what is a wonderful athletic year, do you know what I mean? And we don't get the chance as often as we'd like to recognise and reward the volunteers, and if we could do it for 4 or 5 hours for everybody, we'd love to do it for a lot longer than we do.
I would like you all to welcome some very special guests here tonight. They combine legends, athletes, coaches, representatives and personalities that have made a difference to our sport over the decades. One final round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you our athletic legends. It now gives me great pleasure to welcome some of our team from the Commonwealth Youth Games held this year in Samoa. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's October. We are in Birmingham, therefore it is that time of the year again. Welcome everybody to the 2015 England Athletic Volunteer Awards and Hall of Fame. We're delighted this evening to be, well, joined by lots of memorabilia around, and you'll see lots of the 3A's trophies here this evening. In front of me, to my left, is the Lillian Board Trophy, more about that later. But we also this evening welcome a football presence, because this evening we have the Prince Hassan Trophy to my right or to your left, and that is currently at the National Football Museum to mark the 150th anniversary of Arthur Wharton's birth, which will be on the 28th of October. And we will therefore start the proceedings this evening with presentations on behalf of the Ron Pickering Memorial Fund. So can I please invite the lovely Sean Pickering onto the stage to make our first presentations of the evening. Sean, please join me.
It's a pleasure to be here this evening to present the award for performances in the under-23 junior and youth categories for the 2015 athletics year. The recipient of the Ron Pickering Memorial Award for the best performance in the under-23 category goes to Nick Miller from Carlisle. But I'd like you to join me in congratulating Catherine Reid on her Ron Pickering Memorial Fund performance of the year in the youth category. I want to congratulate him for a wonderful year, and also please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage the recipient of the Ron Pickering Memorial Fund Award for the best performance for Junior Athlete of the Year, to Kyle Langford.
Then let's get going, shall we? Shall we get going? Thank you very much indeed. In total, we have 7 awards to present.
And the winner is Chelmsford Athletic Club. She's got to be careful. And the winner is Active Devon.
And the winner is Fen Edge Runners, Tom Johnston and Luke Renouf. It's my pleasure to announce the Coach of the Year is Deborah Bray.
Very pleased to say the winner is Tobias Nwenu. Once again, with great pleasure, the winner is Malcolm Fletcher.
It gives me great pleasure in the memory of David Sunderland to award this salver to Charlotte Fisher.
The second part of our evening, therefore, tonight is the England Athletics Hall of Fame. Our first inductee of 2015. Yes, she was a good athlete, but inducted tonight for her services to our sport. Ladies and gentlemen, Joan Allison. Many congratulations. You did it all, but which did you enjoy more? Was it the competing side or was it the managing side?
I actually loved my time competing, but I just so enjoyed team management. It was just such a natural thing for me to do. I absolutely loved it.
Now, with the schedule that being the new IAAF president brings, Lord Sebastian Coe sent his apologies here for not being with us this evening, but we presented him with the trophy a little earlier this month.
On behalf of England Athletics, a really privileged to be able to present you with this award for your father, Peter Coe.
Thank you very much. You know, to have you here to present this to me is amazing because, of course, you knew him as well as I did. And, you know, well, apart from anything else, he adored you. And it's great that I'm able to take this because you and I would probably not be standing here but for the thought and attention and the extraordinary coaching that we received from him. And where would any of us be without great coaching? So I know that his grandchildren will love to see this when I take it home. Thanks very much indeed, and thank you, England Athletics.
Our second inductee of 2015, Lillian Board. Please will Lillian's brother-in-law David Emery please join us on stage to collect the induction. She achieved so much at such a young age. What are yours and your family's recollection of Lillian's career?
Yes, as you said, it's very emotional, of course. Cut off far too short. Coming into her great strength in 1969 after that heartbreak of 68, when she was actually roundly criticised by the British press, of which I became one. I wouldn't have criticised her. And in 69, of course, she absolved herself and proved what a fantastic talent she was.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome inductee number 4. Join us, Basil Heatley. Was a mighty fine marathon runner, sir. What are your memories of that? 2 hours 13 in that era?
Memories of it. Well, I went home after that Windsor Chiswick, 2:13 something, and not until I read it in the press the next morning did I believe it. I fully expected there to be a correction on the times and or the distance, but it wasn't to be.
Fortunately, Peter cannot be with us here this evening, but Margaret and Alison Paish, wife and daughter of his coach, Will Paish, they are with us this evening. We welcome you both. And they presented the trophy to Peter a few weeks ago.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Firstly, I'd like to offer my apologies for not being with you this evening. For those who do know me, I don't usually give up on a free meal, so I do send my apologies. And secondly, I would like to say how honoured and privileged I am to have received this trophy from England Athletics and been inducted into the Hall of Fame for 2015. I hope you all have a fabulous evening. thanks again for this trophy. It is a real privilege, and I am so pleased to actually have been inducted into the Hall of Fame. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, to accept the induction of McDonald Bailey, please welcome onto the stage his daughter and son, Rachel and Robert Bailey.
He's always admired people like Bolt who have put in the work, because that's all it is. And he always talked about how hard he trained and how often he trained. It was constantly, and that's what I've heard, obviously, you know. So I think he's quite, and he would be very honoured the fact that he's been, celebrated today. I know that, you know.
Emil Voigt's daughter lives over in Australia, and although she played an important part in providing a great deal of information regarding Emil, could not make it tonight due to personal circumstances, and believe me, she really did want to be here. But she is, however, overjoyed with Emil's induction into the class of 2015 and has requested a copy of the induction to be sent to her. Ladies and gentlemen, one final round of applause to Emil Voigt. I'm waving to the camera. We're sending it down under to her. As ladies and gentlemen, inductee number 8, Danny Crates. Memories. There were so many good ones there, and we saw the clip as well, the Paralympic medals and everything. What meant the most to you?
I mean, I think getting to a point where you know you are one of the best in the world. But for me, it was Athens, and it wasn't just because of the gold. It was because I had so many friends, family. Ao had made it out there as well, and it was that whole culmination of all that work and the disappointments that I'd had in the years before, and suddenly crossing the finish line and looking and realising I'd over 30 mates and friends and family just in there with me, and that's kind of what made it all true. And you know, training partners to Donna for over 9 years. The only downside is I'm now flanked by 2 women that I never ran faster over 400 metres.
Gentlemen, known amongst the team as Roger Pretty Boy Black, come up and accept your induction, sir. Do you ever regret running for silver and not gold?
No.
I've got to ask you, haven't I? Because you did very well to win the silver, but the mindset.
But you know, and you know, I wasn't running for silver. I'd learned the lesson that we all have to learn at some point, which is, you know, the Olympic final, you will unravel in the Olympic final. There's no other place like it. And I just had to focus on running my perfect race. And the odds were if I did that, I'd probably come in the top 4. Unfortunately, I came second. Michael Johnson was exceptional. I feel blessed to have been around and to have shared that moment with him, actually, to be honest with you. And he went on to do amazing things a few days later. And that silver for me was like gold to him. It was fine.
Now, I'd like to finish off things, therefore, this evening by inviting England Athletics Chairman Peter King to join me on stage to start wrapping up the proceedings. Peter, please.
To be in the presence of such great athletes and such tremendous volunteers and supporters of this wonderful sport.
It's been a pleasure. I will see you all hopefully in 2016. Have a great year. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Good night. I can't believe it's the end of another super duper night. Thank you all so much for coming to the 2015 England Athletic Volunteer Awards and Hall of Fame. We've had a super night. We've inducted wonderful athletes past and present, and also rewarded some deserving volunteers. It's been a super 2015. Well, 2016 is round the corner, so we look forward to seeing you next year.